Hi guys, it's Pete aka On a Retro Tip, back with another 10 facts, and this time getting the fact treatment is 1995's Full Throttle, an adventure game by Lucasarts. Now if you watch the channel you're probably aware that I'm a huge fan of Lucasarts adventure games, and in fact anything that Tim Schafer's had a hand in. Full Throttle was Schafer's first game as project lead, and he was also the head writer and designer. And this was well deserved after having worked on LucasArts classics like the first two Monkey Island games and Day of the Tentacle. Set in the near future, Full Throttle's story follows Ben, the leader of a biker gang who's framed for the murder of a beloved motorcycle manufacturer and seeks to clear his and his gang's names. Full Throttle was the most successful LucasArts adventure game at the time and was the second highest selling overall after The Dig. Tim Schafer's company Double Fine have a remastered version of Full Throttle coming to modern platforms this year, and personally I can't wait. They did an excellent job remastering Grim Fandango and Day of the Tentacle, and the Full Throttle remaster will have similar features such as enhanced graphics and sound and the ability to switch between retro and modern graphics, which is always a nice touch. Be warned that the following 10 facts do contain spoilers, so whether you've played the game before or you're here in preparation for the upcoming remaster, let's see if you knew these 10 facts. When your character Ben is talking to Emmett in the bar, choosing the option "Let me show you how to do that" 10 times will trigger a hidden knife minigame. Ben's last name is Throttle, but this isn't actually mentioned in the game. His last name was dropped to avoid potential legal issues, as the cartoon series Biker Mice from Mars had a character called Throttle. Ben is referred to as Ben What's His Name in the manual, but evidence of his real last name can be found in the game's concept art. Tim Schafer originally wanted to include a section wherein Ben would take peyote and have the player play through Ben's subsequent dream sequence. Although the idea was dropped from Full Throttle, probably due to concerns regarding the subject matter, he developed the idea from being an interactive dream sequence into a whole game built upon entering mines, as it formed the inspiration for Schafer's later game, Psychonauts. The hood ornament on the Corley Motors hovercar seen at the beginning of the game bears Tim Schafer's likeness. One of the cars in the junkyard is modelled after a 1969 Pontiac Le Mans, a car which Tim Schafer owned during the development of Full Throttle. One day while out to lunch, the engine exploded and the car caught fire. Later when Schafer returned to the office, he found that Peter Chan, lead artist for Full Throttle, had painted the car into the game. As a result of the incident at lunch, when the player looks at the car, Ben will say, "Fire damage, forget about it." Rumour has it that Tim Schafer was inspired to make Full Throttle when he heard stories told by an acquaintance who spent their summer holiday in Alaska. The way he described the bikers and communities that he met reminded Schafer of folklore tales and aroused his interest in the subject matter. Tim Schafer took a vastly different approach to the character design for Full Throttle when compared to previous games. In contrast to goofy and clumsy protagonists like Monkey Island's Guybrush Threepwood and Day of the Tentacle's Bernard Bernoulli, Schafer argued that players were just as likely to want to play as a cool character, and so created a lead character that would be, quote, bigger than them and tougher than them, and who could ride this big huge motorcycle and lead this gang of bikers. This is the first ever video game to use primarily Screenwriters Guild of America voice actors, including Roy Conrad, who voiced the main character Ben, who had been in a few films and Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, Mark Hamill of Star Wars fame, voicing Adrian Ripburger, and Hamilton Camp, known for voicing various cartoon characters, most notably Gizmo Duck in DuckTales, and was Lek in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, as Malcolm Corley. Several LucasArts veteran voice actors were also present, such as Nick Jameson, who was in various things including Lost, and voiced Max in Sam & Max Hit the Road, and Denny Delk, who had voiced parts in loads of LucasArts games including Hoagie in Day of the Tentacle, Admiral Zarin in TIE Fighter, and was in the film The Empire Strikes Back as medical droid 21B. Full Throttle was also one of the few LucasArts games to use licensed music, featuring songs by San Franciscan rock band the Gone Jackals. The members of the Vulture Gang are named after characters in Maniac Mansion and include Sid, Michael, Razor and Wendy. As with all LucasArts games, Star Wars references are plentiful in Full Throttle. A few examples are Emmett's Imperial logo tattoo, a Rottweiler's Rebel Alliance forehead tattoo, the design of the cave fish being very similar to that of the Tusken Raiders, and Miranda's plea from the dumpster, "Help me Ben, you're my only hope," is an obvious homage to the first film. There are also nods to previous LucasArts adventure games. Bill Farmer and Nick Jameson, the voices of Sam and Max, play minor roles, and Max makes a few appearances. An image of him can be seen on the wall in the Demolition Derby during the scene where the Masked Avenger is on fire. Full Throttle had two cancelled sequels. The first was Full Throttle Payback. Also known as Full Throttle 2, Full Throttle Payback was in development for PC in 2000 by LucasArts with a rumoured PlayStation 2 port. It would have been a direct sequel to the original storyline, although without Tim Schafer as he had already left LucasArts. Despite the project receiving positive feedback from employees, Payback was eventually scrapped due to rumoured in-house disagreements on the game's style between the development team and an unnamed higher-up at LucasArts who seemingly had never played the original. Production ceased in November 2000 when approximately 25% of the levels and 40% of the pre-production art were complete. A shame as the concept art looks intriguing, but the fact that graphic adventure games weren't as popular in 2000 as they had been in their 90s heyday may have also been a factor in its cancellation. The second planned sequel was Full Throttle Hell on Wheels. This one started development at some point after Payback, but it was cancelled in 2003. At the time it was dubbed Hell on Eyes by fans, as some of the screenshots released were less than attractive. The game seems to borrow some of the plot ideas from Payback, and although a PC port was planned, it had more of an action-oriented gameplay style to suit consoles, including some Road Rash-like motorcycle segments. The official story of its cancellation was that LucasArts didn't want to disappoint Full Throttle fans with a subpar game, but rumour has it that some production targets were missed, and LucasArts didn't want to go over budget on a game for a dying genre. Whatever the truth of the matter, Hell on Wheels died, along with probably the last chance that Full Throttle fans had of seeing a sequel. So there we have it guys, my 10 Full Throttle facts. Did you know all or any of them? Let me know in the comments. And if you haven't played the game, I urge you to check out Double Fine's upcoming remaster when it's released. Thanks for watching!